The fans flooding in, getting ready to watch this battle for the state of Pennsylvania. And their new hero about to take the field. Welcome to Pittsburgh, and welcome to a battle of two of the best teams in the NFL today on Fox, the Eagles and the Steelers. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Troy and Chris in just a second. This place is going nuts. The Pittsburgh Steelers surprising at 6-1, trying to become the first team in NFL history this deep into the season to beat undefeated teams in back-to-back weekends. I'll check it over to Chris Collinsworth. And Chris, the Eagles roll in here. Best start in franchise history, 7-0. It'll be a stiff test for the Steelers today.
Yeah, it really will be. And I know there's no such thing as a halfway Super Bowl, but if there were, I believe these two teams would be in it. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles, all the star power. Donovan McNabb, Terrell Owens, Javon Curse. Are they the best team in the National Football League, Troy? I think we're going to know a lot more about that after today.
Well, yeah, and if the Eagles are the best team in the league, then the Steelers are certainly right on their heels, winners of 5 straight. And the way that they've been able to do it is playing great defense and running the football. But the guy who's been getting all the attention is rookie quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, who's been absolutely terrific and getting better each week. And one of the reasons why is he's had great protection. Well, that's going to be vital here today because he's facing an Eagles defense that loves the blitz and loves the blitz often. And how well they handle that is going to determine their success.
And really a change for the Steelers is how much better their running game is this year, but they will not have Deuce Staley available today. He is out with a bad hamstring. That means it's old school Steelers with Jerome Bettis, the bus, running the ball for the majority of the afternoon. There's still time to select your singular fantasy football team for this week. Text message play to 63504 on your singular wireless phone or vote on foxsports.com. It's like a state championship type atmosphere or a great bowl atmosphere against intra-state rivals. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. Is this the first of 2 matchups this year? The football game is coming your way next on Fox. It is a scalper's dream. This is a tough ticket here in Pittsburgh. And for more on today's game and a special visit, nice to be able to throw it again down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe Buck, they've already knocked off one undefeated team. Today they go for an historic 2 in a row. Bill Cowher, what gives you your best chance to beat Philly today?
We're going to continue to play smart, man. We have not turned the ball over, 1 turnover the last 3 games. Get a fast start, get our crowd into it, and hope we can feed off of that. You've been very emphatic. You don't want their 81 TO to beat you. How do you make sure that that doesn't happen? Awareness. We got to be aware where he is at all times and move him around. We got to make him take the short stuff, and we got to make him take a big play away. They've been a big play offense. Thanks so much, Bill. Let's go back upstairs to Joe. All right, Pam, thank you very much. There is T.O. Terrell Owens, who has made such a difference with his 9 touchdown receptions. Donovan McNabb has been on the other end of him. And this undefeated team, the last undefeated team in the NFL, taking on Ben Roethlisberger and this surprising 6-1 Steeler club. See how pumped up David Akers is. Antoine Randall L. will take a knee, and that's how pumped up David Akers is. Gets it into the end zone, working with the wind, and Ben Roethlisberger, the rookie, 22 years old, and here's what he has done. A completion percentage of 70.1. The rookie record 58.4. The quarterback rating over 104. And to be fair to Dan Marino, they're not asking Ben Roethlisberger to throw like the Dolphins were using Marino back in '83. So it's not really a fair comparison.
No, it's not, Joe, but I'll say this. Everyone's talking about how great he has played as a rookie. He's played great regardless of whether you're a rookie or a veteran.
The Steelers will start with a play action and drop it off to the fullback. Kreider has a first down.
And as good as Ben Roethlisberger has been, to me, clearly the difference in the Pittsburgh Steelers this year has been getting back to their roots. They've been running the football. Already 10 touchdowns rushing this year. That matched what they had the entire season a year ago, taking a lot of pressure off of Roethlisberger, although it's been Deuce Staley, and today it's the bus back in action.
Yeah, these are your grandkids Steelers today with Jerome Bettis, the featured back, no Deuce Staley. And Bettis gets his first of the day. Crosses the 35, picked up 4, and we look at the rest of this offense, and I guess, guys, you really have to credit the job Russ Grimm has done with this offensive line. This has been such a change from a year ago.
Well, it really is, and primarily because there were injuries along the offensive line, so they had to make some changes. That also is what got them away from running the football a year ago, but now they've gotten back to basics.
Deuce Staley, number 3 in the AFC with his 707 yards. He's on pace for his best year ever. Hurt his hamstring in practice on Friday, inactive today. So it's Bettis again. Jerome Bettis for the first down into Philadelphia territory.
Jerome Bettis got a lot of action last week against the New England Patriots, and I really thought, just watching the tape of the game, it was as quick as I've seen him in a couple of years. You can see that he's just completely amped up for this, his first start so far this season. And when Jerome Bettis gets running downhill, it is a major headache for those guys in the secondary.
Got to be working with fresh legs. Came into this game with only 52 carries on the year. Roethlisberger has it batted into the air, and it's incomplete. His center Hardings was there to just make sure nobody was waiting for the deflection. Here's the defense for the Eagles. Javon Kearse has made the difference. 6 sacks, and the group as a whole with 25 on the season to lead the NFL. The linebackers and then the secondary, and they have locked up their 2 young cornerbacks, Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown, to multi-year contracts. This group under the direction of defensive coordinator Jim Johnson. Second and 10, it's Bettis. Big hole, and Jerome Bettis is collared at the 40, about half a yard shy of a first down.
Well, and that's the side of the offensive line that this Pittsburgh Steeler offense wants to run the ball. Behind Alan Faneca, their all-pro left guard, along with Marvell Smith. We see the job that he's doing as far as shielding the inside and giving Jerome Bettis a lane to run up inside. Obviously, Philadelphia has had problems stopping the run. They've come out here today, and they're struggling with it as well.
Blitz coming, third down and less than 1, and Bettis sticks his nose in there, and he did not get it. And now the first decision for the Pittsburgh Steelers as the ball rests just outside the Philadelphia 40.
And prior to this game, that was the area where Jerome Bettis had been used mostly in short yardage along with goal line situations. Big, strong, physical back. Does a good job of moving the pile. Not surprising to me to see Pittsburgh going for it here this early in the game.
Yeah, I agree. Max Starks comes in as another tight end, so 6 offensive linemen in now for the Steelers.
They hand to Bettis. Bettis has it. First down inside the 35. Number 6 on the all-time NFL rushing yardage list, and the 32-year-old has had a fast start to this game against the Eagles.
And I think this is just a statement by Bill Cowher that he said, I know Philadelphia is weak against the run. They haven't been able to stop anybody this season. We have Jerome Bettis. We have a great offensive line that dominated the world champion New England Patriots a week ago. We're going to show you right up front that you can't stop us.
Now it's Haynes getting the ball for the first time today. Baron Haynes is down inside the 30. Gain of 5.
Well, I know right now, Joe, if you're a quarterback coming into this game as Ben Roethlisberger is, and you're facing the Philadelphia Eagles, and you're so concerned about the blitz packages that Jim Johnson likes to employ. The best way to defeat that, one, is to be able to run the football. Two, to stay out of third and long situations. They've done that here in this first possession.
Only 2 throws from Big Ben so far in this opening drive. Blitz and a sack. That was Sam Rayburn, who was just signed to a long-term deal over the weekend, and he celebrates and rewards the Eagles with a big sack and a loss of 8.
The Eagles that time came with a blitz right up the gut, and it's going to draw the block away, so Sam Rayburn's going to come free on the outside. Just a mistake up front that time by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And this is what Philadelphia defensively has been able to do all year long. Yes, they give up runs, big runs in the running game, but then they make a play when a team starts penetrating to get them into third and long and then play well on third down conversions.
And this will be a blitz by Philadelphia.
Coming on 3rd and 13, Roethlisberger. Penalty flag on the play, and Roethlisberger picks up enough yardage for a first down, but will check the marker. And the indication is it's against Philadelphia. Bill Carollo is our referee.
Illegal contact. 24 defense. Well, the quarterback was in the pocket. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
You know, we talk about Ben Roethlisberger and his composure in the pocket. They're wanting to run a little bit of a double move on the inside. They cover it up, and then he's got great mobility for a guy his size. Sheldon Brown, the corner for Philadelphia, that got called for the illegal contact down the field.
16-yard run is the longest for Roethlisberger in this stint. He is 5-0 as a starter. The NFL record for a rookie starting out. 6-0 Mike Kruzak. Back in '76 for the Steelers, playing for an injured Terry Bradshaw. They hand it to Ward on an end around. Hines Ward trying to pick his way for the touchdown.
Hugh Douglas read this one perfectly. He's out in open space, but simply cannot get Hines Ward on the ground. And then Plexico Burress taking care of his fellow wide receiver with a key block down the field to spring him for the touchdown.
Faneca was out there in front of it as well. Reed makes it 7-0. Exactly what Bill Cowher told Pam Oliver just before kickoff. Running the ball, getting the home crowd into it. They're into it. And the Steelers into the end zone, up 7.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
Don't forget, on that opening possession, drive, and touchdown for the Steelers, it was capped on the run by Ward, his first career rushing touchdown, 16 yards. But how about the 16-yard run by Ben Roethlisberger on 3rd and 13 to set it up? Running game impressive. 71 rushing yards on that opening drive. Reed kicks it away, and it's Dexter Wynn now returning kicks. Not on that one. Well, in this year of he stole my dance, Hines Ward has one for T.O. We'll see if he gets a chance to have an answer.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time.
He looks awfully calm for a 22-year-old rookie quarterback out of Miami of Ohio. 5-0 as a starter with the Steelers.
Just another day at the office for him.
Pittsburgh up 7.
He just doesn't know any better.
McNabb starts with a throw, and it's his Tynan Lewis. And Chad is forced out of bounds after a gain of 4. Brian Westbrook is available today. The Philadelphia Eagles started that first play with Dorsey Levens behind this offensive line, anchored by the center Hank Fraley. Old Honey Buns went to Robert Morris, and at one point was a free agent pickup and then cut by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Westbrook is in. 2nd and 6. Westbrook gets it. Makes a move. Brought down by Townsend after a gain of 3. The defense for Pittsburgh, 5th best in the NFL. And they play a 3-4, and by now the Eagles are used to facing a 3-4. They really miss Casey Hampton, the nose tackle. Chris Hope, 4th-year player, is at that spot. The linebackers. And then the secondary, Townsend and Willie Williams, the veteran 34-year-old, making his second start in place of the injured Chad Scott. 3rd and 4. A slow start off the ball for the Eagles, and Donovan McNabb goes down.
LeBeau likes to present a lot of different looks. They overload this right side. They're going to show blitz. The Eagles actually do a pretty good job picking it up, and then they just let Larry Foote go up inside, and Donovan McNabb unable to escape the rush.
As Tom Brady learned a week ago, this is a tough team to try and throw the football against.
Johnson punts it, taken on a hop by Antoine Randall. Why not try this side? Gets a block. Good pursuit by the Eagles, and what looked to be a chance for a big return by Antoine Randall. Goes for a return of 6 yards. Big Ben back to work. Donovan McNabb will stand and watch. Steelers up 7. For today, it is a 300-mile stretch. We had that quick shot of the map. It said everywhere surrounding the state of Pennsylvania is just the rest of the world. A matchup between the Steelers and the Eagles. The stadium actually on the near side of the river as you cross into the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And there's a throw to Plexico Burress and a gain of 13 yards for another Steeler first down.
You know, it almost makes you laugh, Joe. I mean, I said before, this kid doesn't even know what he's doing, and I really believe to some extent that's true. I mean, nobody comes in the National Football League, wins 5 in a row, stands there against the Philadelphia Eagles defense with all their exotic looks, and just drops back and throws the ball with ease in there. He's really been amazing thus far.
Blitz coming again, and they hand to Bettis. And Jerome Bettis gets back to the line of scrimmage. How about during the warm-ups? Here's the 22-year-old going around and shaking the hands of the guys who are helping to make him a star.
Well, the thing about it, Joe, is he's really a young quarterback. He should really be now playing his senior season at Miami of Ohio. Did not have a lot of playing time in high school. 1 year as a quarterback, but he has shown tremendous maturity as far as the way he's handled himself with this football team and has earned the respect of these veteran players.
Eagles yell out run. It is a run, and they stop Bettis in the backfield. A loss of 3.
Well, now you're starting to see the Philadelphia Eagles and Jim Johnson with their answer, which it always is when they get in trouble, and that's bringing the blitz down. That time Brian Dawkins from his safety position coming down. Jim Johnson was telling us yesterday, he said, as long as they just have small runs, I don't care. Between the 20s, I don't care about that. We're going to give that up. If they start to gouge us a little bit, Dawkins will come down, Michael Lewis will come down, and we'll try and stop it the best we can.
Another 3rd and 13 for the Steelers. Roethlisberger looking for a little daylight, throws on the run and has a first down completion. He gets Haynes out of the backfield. And another conversion on 3rd and 13 for Big Ben.
Well, this time Philadelphia only rushes 4, and as a result, it gives Ben Roethlisberger a chance to escape the rush. And one of the things that he has done very well all season long is moving to his left and still being able to throw the ball across his body. This time he finds Verron Haynes working against Dhani Jones, and that's not an easy throw for a quarterback to make. Ben Roethlisberger has made it look easy time and time again.
Bettis right up the gut. And Jerome Bettis picked up 9.5 and may depend on the spot as to whether he got enough for a first down.
Well,
Jeremiah Trotter on the stop.
Excuse me, Joe. I've really enjoyed watching this Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. They were so dominant a week ago. But you see guys, Jeff Harding's their center, Alan Faneca, the Pro Bowl and All-Pro left guard, really the heart and soul of this offensive line. And Alan Faneca, you hear guys that get a lot of hype and sometimes don't live up to it. He's the best guard I've seen this season.
2nd down and about a ½ yard, and it's Haynes. And Haynes has another Steeler first down. You know, guys, they talk about the defensive scheming of Bill Belichick, and last week it was the Steelers snapping the 21-game winning streak by the Patriots. But at some point, New England didn't have Ty Law early in that game, and you've got to back off with some of the blitzing if you don't have Law out there in coverage. Now you've got these 2 young corners that the Eagles obviously love, so this is going to be even more of a test against a good blitzing scheme for Roethlisberger as he works on first down. Play action. Roethlisberger fires, and it's off the hands of his fullback Kreider.
You know, one of the areas where Ben Roethlisberger has struggled a little bit is when his first guy's open. He's very effective in dropping back and throwing the ball. Here he's looking for Plexico Burress on the outside. They've got a rolled safety over the top. It's not there. And as you'll watch Ben Roethlisberger, he wants to throw it, and him trying to process going to the 2nd and 3rd receivers has been somewhat difficult for him, as we just saw, and that's an area where he'll continue to get better at.
Look at that protection, though. He was back there about 5 seconds, and nobody laid a finger on him.
2nd down and 10. Haynes cuts it up to the 20. Gain of 6.
There's so many great things to watch with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the way they run the football, but one thing they really do a tremendous job of is cutting off backside linebackers. Watch Alan Faneca, the left guard, come out here and really effectively take 2. Now there's no pursuit that's going to come over from the backside and be able to make that play.
One of the Eagles is down. It's Corey Simon, the defensive tackle. Training staff looking at him. Pittsburgh faced with a 3rd down when we come back.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the new Ford 500. Built for the road ahead. By HP. Services and technology help companies face, manage, and love change. By the new Singular, raising the bar. And by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call.
3rd down and 4 from the Philadelphia 20. Roethlisberger fires. He gets it to Ward, and Hines Ward has his 2nd of the day.
You're going to see Hines Ward go in motion. It's not something Pittsburgh wanted to do a lot of. They did not want to confuse the looks for Ben Roethlisberger, but by doing so, they're able to outflank Sheldon Brown. He misses the tackle, and then it's on into the end zone.
And I have no idea what Sheldon Brown was doing. He was in man coverage. You could tell by the motion that he was in man coverage, and that's the reason they did the double motion. And then he just simply was frozen on the play and didn't cover him out in the flat.
Whistles and flags before the extra point.
Prior to the snap, false start. 91, offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay the try.
So Sheldon Brown, who was just rewarded with a contract that'll run through 2012. The $7.5 million bonus is the one beaten on that play for the touchdown. And Hines Ward actually has more catches over the last 3.5 years than Terrell Owens. And you saw Owens react on the sideline while Hines got a chance to rub it in his face again.
But you know what's really been interesting is that Plexico Burress, since Ben Roethlisberger has come in, has really been the go-to guy. And Hines Ward today has been the one. Did you see the wind take that thing out of there?
So Ward gets his second. He's run one in. One on a pass reception. Hines Ward doing his thing. Terrell Owens. Uh-oh. Well, I know this. Hines Ward has made a lot of Steeler fans smile today, and he's made Ray Lewis smile today. Somewhere, wherever he is, smiling at the notion of Hines Ward doing that little celebratory eagle flap in the end zone, and this has been the longest. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The largest deficit the Eagles have faced all season long.
Pretty reminiscent of what the Steelers did last week to the Patriots, jumping up on them 21-3 in the first quarter.
Dexter Wynn gets a chance to return this one. And Wynn is held up at the 24. It's a 14-0 Steeler lead. The Eagles just trying to get their feet underneath them. Back to work. They knocked off the undefeated New England Patriots last week, snapped their 21-game winning streak, and now against their intra-state rival Philadelphia Eagles, they have taken it to them, a 14-0 lead here in the first quarter. You're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in 720p, the world's finest high-definition standard, and Dolby 5.1. I think Dick LeBeau will be dialing up some blitzes for Donovan McNabb. Penalty flag before the snap.
Prior to the snap, false start. 82, offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
And you can just tell the Eagles look uncomfortable right now. They have not been in this position. They've been basically ahead the entire season. 80% of the time this season they've been ahead. Only about 10 minutes the entire year have they been behind. And this is going to get a lot more uncomfortable when Dick LeBeau starts dialing up these defenses. It takes a doctorate degree to try and figure this stuff out.
They stay with it on the ground, and the handoff is to Levens, a gain of 3. Let's check in with Jeannie Zelasco for a game break.
Well, Joe, 4th and inches in Miami. The Dolphins going for the big payoff, and so is Rob Conrad. 20-yard touchdown reception. Miami missed the extra point. They still have the 9-3 lead over Arizona.
All right, Jeannie, thank you. They signed Bill Gramatica. Got 3 kickers on their roster. 2nd down and 12. Blitz. McNabb in trouble. Wants to air it out. Owens is the intended receiver, and everybody is overthrown. Running with him was Willie Williams.
Yeah, that time they got the one-on-one outside on Terrell Owens with Willie Williams, and Willie Williams just stays on top. But at that time, Donovan McNabb had to move around a little bit, was late getting the ball up. Had he have been able to step up in the pocket, he might have had a shot, Chris.
And Terrell Owens stopped on the play. You know, I mean, if he doesn't stop on that play, Donovan McNabb launched that one about 60 yards in the air, and maybe T.O. just didn't believe he could throw it that far.
Well, I think he slowed down, thinking Donovan was caught in traffic back in the pocket.
It's not an excuse to slow down.
3rd down and 12. Blitz coming. Eagles pick it up, and the pass is short. And McNabb's arm may have been hit when he let it go. Pressure by Willie Williams. who wasn't winded after running with Owens.
No, that time they bring Willie Williams on the corner blitz and drop some people underneath the route. So even though you would think you're going to get one-on-one with lanes to throw, still nowhere to go with the ball with Donovan McNabb. Dick LeBeau doing a terrific job once again defensing this offense.
And if Andy Reid wants to throw the ball, you better start getting it out there a little bit quicker. You don't have that kind of time against this defense.
Johnson punts it up into the wind, and it's Antoine Randall L. going nowhere. Keith Adams was downfield to make the stop. Only a 1-yard return. Next week on Fox, it's week 10. And the early matchups, the Seahawks and the Rams. That should be a good one for the NFC West. The Bucs and Falcons. Late, the Vikings and the Packers. The Pack's back in it. The Vikings are sliding back toward the Pack. They have a date with Indianapolis on Monday night, and they'll be playing that game without Randy Moss.
And who would have thought when Green Bay got off to a 1-4 start that this game would have so much significance?
2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger with all day, lets it fly. Burris incomplete, and it's Michael Lewis, the safety, back there defending for the Eagles.
And that one's on Ben Roethlisberger, Joe. He had Plexico Burris on the corner route. He's going to start on the left of the formation, but he's working across the field. And if Ben Roethlisberger is able to get that ball out, clearly had Michael Lewis beat.
I couldn't tell if he got his arm hit. Javon Curse, who has made such a difference with the pass rush here, and I think he got it out, just really didn't have an opportunity to step into that throw.
Second down and 10, it's Bettis. Got a big hit, fought for a couple extra yards, got 5.
And I think that's what we're seeing from Jerome Bettis already early in this game, is he's keeping his feet moving and he's picking up an extra yard or 2 every time he runs with the football. And you know, so much talk about how they got away from the running game last year, and it really started at the end of 2002 when Tommy Maddox came in and played very well. They went to a lot of the 3-wide formation stuff, started throwing the ball. Last year, due to the injuries and also because of them wanting to throw the football more, they got away from what had won them a lot of games. Deuce Staley arriving has put the run back in the offense.
Curse came across early. Roethlisberger back across the middle of the field to Tooman, his tight end, incomplete. And this one is against Philadelphia.
Yeah, it looks like they got the cheap 5 yards on 3rd down, so give the quarterback a little credit. And Ben took a shot in the throat, it looks like.
Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty, and it'll give them a first down.
But Troy, I think the most impressive thing that I've seen out of Ben Roethlisberger is A, his ability to move within the pocket and create passing opportunities. But B, when he's running to his left, which is a very difficult throw, his ability to reach back and get plenty of zip on the ball and make that throw, not a lot of guys can do that one.
I think that, combined with the fact that he just does not make mistakes, typical of rookie quarterbacks, he's been able to avoid that.
Reset the game clock to 26 seconds. Correction, 27 seconds.
Nah, make it 28.
In fact, Ben Roethlisberger is only 3 of the last 4 games has not had an interception. Very impressive.
He's almost Brady-esque in that regard. In comparison to a younger Tom Brady, a lot more fair and accurate than all these comparisons to Marino. 27 seconds left in the first quarter, and it's Bettis trying the left side for 3.
Well, the good thing about Roethlisberger as well is the fact that he actually earned the respect of his teammates. They didn't give him the job. He only got the opportunity to play because of the injury to Tommy Maddox.
The Steelers for another weekend electrifying and exciting these great Pittsburgh Steeler fans. The end of the first quarter. Pittsburgh 14, Philadelphia nothing. Hines Ward with 2 touchdowns today. It's been all Pittsburgh after 1 quarter. The NFL on Fox continues after this. First quarter stats, a total of 3 yards for the Philadelphia Eagles. Time of possession dominated by Pittsburgh. 93 rushing yards. Second down with the ball inside Eagle territory. That's Bettis. Jerome Bettis, another first down.
Boy, the bus looks quick today, doesn't he? That was supposed to be a play. You could see the stretch play coming. The offensive linemen were all trying to get the outside cornered off, and all of a sudden Jerome Bettis just made a sharp cut back to the inside, and when 255 pounds makes a sharp cut and runs down that hill, it is intimidating.
First down from the Philadelphia 41. Bettis bounces it. And Jerome Bettis is brought down just shy of first down yardage. He got 8.
Well, that's just unbelievable right now, the job that this offensive line is doing up front. And then, of course, Jerome Bettis being able to see the holes. They start the stretch play, and then he takes it up the field. And you're right, Chris, for a guy his size, the moves that he's able to make, he gets people leaning one way, and he's able to cut on a dime and get back underneath it and get going north and south. He has shown, I think, the fact that he's been limited in his carries, he's got fresh legs.
Second down and 1. Haynes a first down and another huge hole. The ball carrier.
You want about the running backs on this team, and they're certainly talented, but you will not find in the National Football League a bigger hole than what Alan Faneca and Jeff Hardings and Kedrick Vincent just created there. Watch the gap that they are going to be able to run through. Find a hole that big in the National Football League. I've never seen one. That is monstrous.
Play action. Roethlisberger, a sack, and that's the second of the day by Rayburn. Sam Rayburn, a free agent out of Tulsa last year, really made an impression in this year. He now has 5 sacks, and as we said earlier, a new long-term deal.
Yeah, and it looks like it's more and more justified as we move through this game. He's the only guy making any plays for this defense in this one. You know, he's able to get through the line. He keeps on fighting, and that's really the type of player that he is. Not an overly talented guy, but tough and physical and plays hard. You know, Darwin Walker and Corey Simon, they've yet to get any pressure up the middle.
Give a little credit to Hollis Thomas on that play. He really made that one.
On second down, more pressure. They drop off a screen. Haynes down to the 5.
What a great call by Ken Wisenhunt. They've been giving them trouble with pressure over here on this side. Okay, Sam Rayburn, you want to bring some pressure? Bring it on. Dump it right over the top. Big pickup on the screen pass.
Great job by left guard Alan Faneca getting out in front. Pittsburgh over the years under Bill Cowher has been one of the better screen teams in the National Football League. Set up very nicely. Ron Haynes getting right in behind his blockers.
And with the play clock winding down, Roethlisberger takes the first time out of the afternoon. Pittsburgh up 14 and looking for more.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution. By Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. By Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL, get ready for the game. And by Bristol Myers Squibb Company, hope, triumph, and a miracle of medicine.
First and goal here from the 5-yard line, Joe. Don't be surprised. Typically, this is a run down, but what the Pittsburgh Steelers have shown in recent weeks, they've put the ball in Ben Roethlisberger's hands and have allowed him to throw in these situations.
First and goal from the 5. The hand to Bettis. This has been Jerome's specialty this season. He's down to the 2. 8 for 8. situations inside the 5, getting the ball into the end zone is Bettis.
You know, throwing it's probably a good idea against the Patriots and their great run defense. I think against the Philadelphia Eagles, they've found an easier path, especially against some of these smaller defensive ends that the Philadelphia Eagles have. They've really been exploiting them.
2nd and goal at the 2.
78, guys, 78 over there.
Now they do keep it with Roethlisberger. Throws back and gets the touchdown. Remersma.
Ken Wisenhunt was telling us last night that they like to move Ben Roethlisberger out on the edges. It minimizes his mistakes. He's going to run here. It looked like everything was caught up. You're going to see Jay Remersma. He's going to pull up. It looked like it was covered as he's going to the corner. You see him there. Jeremiah Trotter had him. Jay pulls up. Jeremiah Trotter loses him. Great job, Roethlisberger, finding him in the end zone.
And it makes up for the one that Roethlisberger missed last week to Jay Remersma, which was wide open.
Remersma showed how to get rid of a guy across from you when you're headed for the end zone, looking for a touchdown reception. Roethlisberger rolling to his right, throwing back to his left. And Deuce Staley, the longtime Eagle, having fun today in Pittsburgh. 21-0 Steelers. This looked like, to the rest of the world, a pretty even matchup coming in, and then you hear that Deuce Staley is not going to be available for the Steelers today, and you think, well, tip the balance in favor of the Eagles, but this has been a complete domination on the part of the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Eagles, and this is a big possession coming up for Philadelphia, and there's a mistake, maybe the first of the day by the Steelers, as Jeff Reed kicks it out of bounds. And the Eagles will have it starting at their own 40. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, how about that Ben Roethlisberger? He came off the field and he took some congrats, and then he went back out on the field. Why? Because he wanted to personally thank each and every one of his offensive linemen. He followed that up by going from one end of the bench to the other, personally congratulating everybody who was responsible for their success today. He's a leader in a lot of ways. He may be young, but he's certainly a leader so far, Joe.
Well, not only is he a great talent, but he's also got some smarts.
And he's got a future career with Hallmark.
Yeah, you learned that one early. Go congratulate those big guys.
From the 40 on first down. They hand off. That's Westbrook picking up 8. How important, guys, is this possession for the Eagles?
Well, they just have to get at least a first down thus far in the game. 15 first down for the Steelers and 0 for the Philadelphia Eagles in this prolific offense of theirs. So you've got to turn to your quarterback now. Donovan McNabb is the guy that has carried them through. T.O. has been the other one to get this offense on track. You've got to go to your stars right now to start making plays.
2nd down and 2. Pass is complete. That's the tight end, L.J. Smith, and he's got the first Philadelphia first down, a gain of 10.
And I like that throw, much quicker throw. I thought early in the game, the first 2 drives, they were trying to go those 7-step drops and sit back and hold the ball. And I can tell you, I used to play on the Bengals team where Dick LeBeau was the defensive coordinator. You're taking 7-step drops, you're playing right into his strength.
Handoff is to Levens. Not much there. Gain of 1.
Well, in Philadelphia, they're trying to get something going in the run game a little bit, but there just hasn't been a whole lot there. And I know in the middle, you got Chris Hoke, who's making his 2nd NFL start for Casey Hampton, the Pro Bowl player. And you know, they were a little bit concerned. They didn't get tested in the run game last week. They didn't expect to get tested here today, but he's holding up very well in there on the nose tackle.
Four-man rush. McNabb fires. It's caught. That's Pinkston. And Todd slips out of bounds with a first down.
You know, Todd Pinkston received a lot of attention last year in the championship game for all the wrong reasons, really. From me. Okay, I'll admit it. He didn't play very well. Couldn't get off the line of scrimmage. They physically beat him up in that game. He's not a very big guy. But the one thing that you've seen out of Todd Pinkston is he's not a bad number 2 guy. He's not a number 1 receiver, and I think that became obvious. But now with Owens in the lineup, he's done a pretty good job as a number 2 guy.
Underwent an MRI this week, a bone bruise in his right knee. And it's Kimo von Oelhoffen claiming that he was drawn offside. Who's right?
Encroachment. 67. Defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Kimo does not agree.
Sorry, Joe. You go back to that kickoff now with the ball starting out on the 40-yard line. Philadelphia picking up a few first downs, and here they are in scoring territory, and obviously their best possession of the day.
Owens shut out. Over the middle, that's Lewis. And Chad Lewis has another Eagle first down just inside the 19-yard line.
You know, Bill Cowher told us that one of the best defenses against Terrell Owens is just trying to frustrate him. They're rolling his way. Willie Williams is on him, but there's the post corner move, and he thought he had a chance if Donovan McNabb had been able to stick with him just a little bit longer. Of course, Chad Lewis working over the middle of the field, and his play is certainly elevated with the presence of Terrell Owens this year. He's drawn the double coverage, and that's allowed Chad Lewis to work the inside without a lot of bodies.
Blitz coming. Eagles pick it up, and the pass is behind Owens.
And that's really one of the ways that you get the ball to an elite receiver when he's facing double coverage. You run the slant routes, you run the crossing routes. There are ways to get the ball into his hands. They had an opportunity here. You just got to deliver a better throw. Terrell Owens running the slant. Of course, Donovan McNabb, a guy coming untouched right up the gut.
And that guy was Kendrell Bell, who's coming back after the sports hernia operation. And Kendrell Bell has a way of getting to quarterbacks quicker than most linebackers in this game.
Especially when they're not blocked.
On second down and 10, they hand it Westbrook. 3rd and long coming up after a gain of 1.
There's Kendrell Bell, of course, exploded on the scene his rookie season and really has been bothered by injuries for the last couple of years. And as soon as the PA announcer announced his name, he got a nice roar from the crowd. He just adds another element of speed to this defense that's already so fast with Joey Porter and Clark Haggans and James Ferrier.
3rd and 9. Another blitz. McNabb throws underneath, and it's Polamalu. On the stop of Owens, a gain of only 1.
And here's where you get hurt, Joe, when the ball's not out in front of a wide receiver and you allow him to run after the catch. That's where Terrell Owens is most effective. They got Polamalu on Terrell Owens. He's got to step on him, but the ball's got to be out in front of him so he can keep running and not lose stride. The ball's behind him, and as a result, Polamalu is able to come up and make the tackle.
That Polamalu is one heck of a young player, though. A guy that runs about a 4.40 from the safety position, almost unheard of, and he packs a wallop as well.
33-yard try, and the Eagles wanted 7. They get 3 thanks to David Akers. So Owens gets that first catch. He has 1 yard, and the lead is now 18 for the Steelers.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Cadillac and the all-new STS. Breakthrough.
Terrell Owens and his frustration boiling over a bit on the sideline, and I think there was just as much frustration on the part of number 5, Donovan McNabb, maybe even more so. And for this undefeated Eagles team, we haven't really seen this side of the Terrell Owens dynamic that we'll show you after the kickoff. Owens was relentless in chasing Donovan McNabb down the sideline. McNabb wanted no part of hearing from Terrell Owens. Coakley on the return slides down after he crossed the 20. And here is that scene on the sideline after the field goal by Akers.
There had to be about a 30 or 40 second stretch here where Terrell Owens was trying to tell Donovan McNabb, I'm open, throw me the ball when it's one-on-one or whatever it was he's trying to say. But at some point, it's pretty obvious, Troy, your quarterback doesn't want to hear it. Just shut up.
Well,
just
yeah.
Shut up and get away from him.
Donovan knows that he had a couple opportunities there and didn't capitalize on it. And the last thing you want is for anybody, not even a coach or a player, you don't want anybody talking to you. He's frustrated too.
On first down, it's Bettis. His legs still going. Gain of 3. Sheldon Brown on the tackle.
You know, you go back to that last possession by Philadelphia, being able to move the football, had success doing that, but unable to get a touchdown and only having to settle for a field goal. That's pretty big when you're talking about a Pittsburgh Steelers offense that so far this Eagles team has not been able to slow down.
And defensively now, the Eagles have to make a play. They have to make a stop here to give their offense a chance to cut into this lead.
Second down and 7. Handoff is to Bettis. Pushes the pile just across the 30. Gain of 5. You look at the first 3 possessions for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Started at their own 20. 11 plays, touchdown, their own 36. 9 plays and a touchdown. Then the throw to Riemersma after starting at their own 38. 10 plays, 62 yards covered. Third down and 2. Roethlisberger finds his favorite target of the day, Hines Ward, and Ward getting extra yards. Picked up 12.
Well, and here's what happens. They go Hines Ward. He's going to go in motion across here, and Roderick Hood is going to be man-to-man on him going across the formation. Once they get to that position, it now gives Hines Ward the ability to run the crossing route, and Rod Hood gets caught up in the traffic, and that's how Ben Roethlisberger is able to get him the ball. Right now, Ken Whisenhunt is doing a terrific job of mixing things up, giving different looks, anticipating man coverage, and calling the right plays to defeat it.
Bettis again. It was Ike Reese, the linebacker, in on the tackle, a gain of 1.
You know, this is, I believe, the same score that they had against New England a week ago, 21-3. But this is an entirely different ball game. In that one, they had an interception return for a touchdown. They had a fumble. They had some different things that happened. This has been a bludgeoning so far. This has been taking the football and ramming it down the throats of the Philadelphia Eagles. And Ken Whisenhunt has just done a spectacular job calling this game.
Blitz. Steelers do a good job to pick it up. It's Burris. And back is Dawkins. There's the play that this Eagles defense needed to make. And it's their team leader on the defense, Brian Dawkins, with the interception. That's his first of the season. And a 32-yard return at the end of it to give the Eagles good field position.
Well, the Eagles come with pressure off the front. The Pittsburgh Steelers do a good job of anticipating it. Max protected, block it up, and it's the first time that I've seen Roethlisberger force a ball into coverage.
And it's his 5th interception this season. He shakes hands after touchdowns. He shakes hands after interceptions.
My guess is he's probably saying, my bad, guys, my bad, that's on me, we'll get it back.
The Eagles down by 18. McNabb fires and he gets it to Terrell Owens. We saw that play out over on the sideline between Terrell Owens and Donovan McNabb, and who knows what's being said there in that situation. But I thought it was impressive on the part of Donovan McNabb, and the kind of leader that he is, that he didn't turn around and wheel on Terrell Owens and do something that would have made headlines and been an ugly situation over on that sideline.
You can talk about a lot of strengths of Donovan McNabb. Mobility, his arm strength. Top of that list is his leadership.
2nd down and 7. And the pass is complete, brought down a yard shy of a 1st down as Owens. So,
well, now you know why receivers get in the face of quarterbacks on the sideline.
That's right.
Comes out, gets 2 straight passes. But I think a great adjustment here by Andy Reid. They were having some trouble picking up the blitzes from the Steelers, so they come back now. They're going to the 3-step drops, the 5-step drops, getting the ball out quickly, and it's forcing the Steelers to sit back now, because when teams get in that mode, the pressure simply doesn't have time to get there.
We are coming up on the 2-minute warning, and it appears that we will get there. We're there. Philadelphia with 3 timeouts remaining. The ball is sitting at their own 47, trying to make it a little closer before halftime. The Philadelphia Eagles are 7-0, best start in franchise history. They're down 21-3 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 minutes left in the half, and we look at Steve Shula taking the place of the injured Jermaine Mayberry, who's out with a strain in his left calf. This is a huge 3rd and 2 for the Eagles at their own 47. Blitz. Philadelphia picks it up out of the backfield. It's Westbrook. Wow. And what a play by Ferrier.
And Joe, that's really what you want. They bring the blitz up inside, they pick it up, they get the ball into one of their best players' hands one-on-one with Ferrier. More times than not, Westbrook's going to make that guy miss, and he was going to pick up big yards. Great play by Ferrier, bringing Westbrook to the ground in the open field.
And you can see from that shot, look at all the open field. Had he been able to shake James Ferrier, the captain of this defense, what a spectacular open field tackle.
That makes the decision very easy for the Eagles. On 4th and long, they punt it, and it's Antoine Randall L. taking it inside his own 10, which is usually a no-no, but he is out of bounds after a 10-yard return. They'll mark him the Steelers 16.
Absolutely a dream scenario to get your best player in the open field, Brian Westbrook, one-on-one, and look at all the space in front of him. One quick move there, and if he gets around Ferrier, that is a big, big play.
Yeah, and they had a good call on Eagles anticipated man coverage. They had Freddie Mitchell coming across. They could have used him as a natural pick on James Ferrier. They didn't get the pick, and as a result, Ferrier was there to make the play. The Eagles have yet to convert a 3rd down here in the first half.
1:03 remaining. Pittsburgh 2 timeouts left, starting from their own 16, and they hand to Bettis. And they may be content with a 21-3 lead.
Well, and I would say they would be as well, Joe. Go back to last week against the Patriots with 45 seconds left in the game on their own 35 or in the half. Up 14 points. They put the ball in Roethlisberger's hands, and they let him try to go down the field with some more points, obviously, as they're running this thing down now. But they have not been afraid to let Ben Roethlisberger go into the no huddle and try to come away with points in these situations.
I got to tell you, I'm a little surprised they didn't use a timeout there, Philadelphia. Try and get this ball back. Maybe they just don't think they can stop him.
We saw Dan Rooney has to be awfully proud with what he sees out in front of him today. 17 seconds and counting. And this crowd is loving every second of this. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime show. Jeannie Zelasco and Terrell Davis. That is coming your way. What a first half it was for Big Ben, and Ben Roethlisberger leading this Steelers team. Handing it off to Jerome Bettis, who had a big first half against Philadelphia. Ward 2 touchdowns. Reamersma the other. All Pittsburgh after 1 half of play. Back after this from your local Fox. While a lot of these Steeler fans in Pittsburgh today look ahead, wondering if their team could end up in Jacksonville for the Super Bowl, they honor some of the game's greatest players and some of the greatest Steelers ever. The 1979 Pittsburgh Steelers, it's the 25th anniversary. And look at some of these names. Mean Joe Green, John Stallworth, Lynn Swann, our own Terry Bradshaw, MVP of that Super Bowl game. So a special moment here at halftime. second half between the Eagles and the Steelers coming up. A 21-3 Steeler lead. We'll return after this. To 3 at the half. Start of the third quarter is just around the corner. We look at these statistics, obviously dominated by the Pittsburgh Steelers. 140 yards on the ground. So the troubles for the Eagles stopping the run continue. Time of possession, the total yards, Chris circles, only 47 for the Eagles, who come in 7-0. For the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. Who do you have of this group? If you have Hines Ward, congratulations. 2 touchdowns, 1 through the air, 1 on the ground. And I think so far, guys, you look at the score being what it is, it has to at least be a shock that it's been this dominating an effort by the Steelers to this point.
Well, it is a shock. Yeah, I don't think anybody could have anticipated it coming in. So now the question is what happens here in the second half. And if you're Philadelphia, you have to be able to stop the run, regardless of whether it's a 10-yard run or a 4-yard run. Right now, if you go back to last week and what Pittsburgh was able to do against New England, they just pounded the ball on them in the second half, and they had no answer for it.
That, and you look at the Eagles on offense, and I think that's probably the biggest surprise of this game thus far. Yes, I knew the Steelers were a good defense coming in here, but who would have expected this offense with all these weapons to end up with 47 yards at the half? I would not.
And you can't help but be impressed with Ben Roethlisberger. Terrell Owens got into the act a little bit at the end of the first half, but so far only 3 catches for 11 yards. He has not been a factor. We got a chance to look at that 79 team, and I know the guy, I'm 35 years old. You're what, 37? Chris, we won't even tell.
Thanks.
How old you are. But for a guy growing up in St. Louis, where I grew up, when you first started to fall in love with the NFL on a grander scale than the team that was playing down the street, and believe me, in St. Louis, we didn't have much to cheer. You look at this team and the guys like Swan and Stallworth and Bradshaw and Franco Harris and Rocky Flyer and Blunt, and I mean, that steel curtain defense, that's the way I fell in love with the game of football.
Well, and let me tell you, the team that's being honored here today, this 1979 team, Super Bowl 14 against the Los Angeles Rams. I grew up in California. I was actually a big Rams fan. Vince Ferragamo was the quarterback of that team. I was absolutely heartbroken when the Rams failed to win that game. But what a great dynasty this Steeler team had. 4 Super Bowls in 6 years.
14 fourth quarter points, the victory, and the MVP of that Super Bowl against the Rams, Bradshaw. Nice return for the Eagles out across the 30, knocked down at the 32 is Roderick Hood, and let's go down to Pam Oliver.
All right, Joe, Bill Cowher on keeping the Philadelphia Eagles on their heels. He said the best defense for them today has been their running game. He says we got to stay aggressive with that, and we can't get away from it. Meanwhile, for the Philadelphia Eagles, Andy Reid opted not to talk to us at this time. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thanks.
I bet you had something to say at halftime, though.
Let's see how the Eagles come out. Westbrook, his biggest run of the day. Brian Westbrook out of bounds with a first down at the Philadelphia 45.
And for me, Westbrook really has to be the X factor here in the second half of this game. We've seen Brian Westbrook literally take games over. He's explosive. He has big play capability. They're obviously going to focus on Terrell Owens in the passing game here, being this far ahead. But Westbrook is a guy, if you get him in the open field, he can create some instant offense and open things up for T.O. and the other guys.
He's the home run hitter.
Well, let's not.
The Eagles missed last week.
He is, Joe, but let's not forget he is playing injured. He has the rib injury, a bruise to the area. Was questionable throughout the week as to whether or not he was going to be able to play. How effective and how much can he carry the load?
Westbrook will try to the right side this time, and he is swallowed up. A loss of 1. Aaron Smith was the first one to get there.
Well, Aaron Smith, according to Dick LeBeau, is the best kept secret in the National Football League. He said there is not a more consistent guy week in and week out that just keeps making plays and nobody talks about. You know, a 3-4 end is not exactly like a 4-3 end where you get to be on the end of the line of scrimmage. You're down there with the guards and the tight ends and everybody beating on you. But Aaron Smith with 5 sacks, just 3 short of his career high already.
2nd down and 11. McNabb over the middle for Westbrook. They're going to mark him down at the 49-yard line or just inside midfield into Pittsburgh territory. A gain of 6. 3rd down coming up for Philadelphia.
Yeah, and 3rd down is the area that they're having problems. And when you get into games like this, every 3rd down becomes very, very critical in order to keep possessions alive to go down and get points. Right now, at 3rd and 5, they're opening possession in the 2nd half. Big play in this game.
They hand off. Westbrook. He goes nowhere. Lost yardage. Awfully conservative against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and it was Westbrook, and now a punt.
Not only conservative, but watch the slants. They guessed right. Dick LeBeau has been calling a masterful game thus far. At the snap of the ball, everybody jetted out to the left side and made the play.
I got to tell you, I don't question calls often, but at 3rd and 5, I'm surprised trying to run the ball in that situation for a 1st down when they had not been able to do anything on the previous runs.
Johnson, a line drive punt into the wind. And Antwaan Randle El with those great hands picks it up. They will not throw a flag as Ike Reese out of bounds wrapped up El after a return of 3 yards. So Antwaan Randle El got this little surprise on the boundary from Reese. Steelers hold on their first defensive effort.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
Ben Roethlisberger and this Steelers offense so impressive in the 1st half. Starting with it at their own 14-yard line, it's Bettis, who's creeping up on a 100-yard day. Gains 3 on that first carry.
Well, and right now, I think it's time for this defense to step up. For so many years, this organization, this football team has been built around the play. See, Jerome Bettis lost his shoe, but this defense has been built around the play, around their defense, and so far today, they've not been able to step up. They're as deep as they've been in quite some time. They've got healthy bodies, and yet Pittsburgh's been able to dominate them throughout this game.
Handoff is to Haynes. He picked up 2 over the left side. You think about, I've already said the name Russ Grimm. His 4th year as the offensive line coach. Obviously a longtime Washington Redskin, a very athletic guy. When he played for Joe Gibbs, he was Gibbs' emergency quarterback there. And the job that he's done putting this group together. They lost Kendall Simmons. Vincent has done well at right guard. Ross has played right tackle, and Starks is starting to creep in there. Their 3rd-round pick from Florida. Third down and 5. Another 4-man rush, and it's Burris up to get it for a 1st down.
Wow. That's really a difference right there between these 2 football teams. Plexico Burris, a big guy, 6'5", 230 pounds, and Ben Roethlisberger just simply took advantage of the size differential. He intentionally threw that ball high. I talked to Lito Shepherd. He says, I know they do that against me. I know they're going to try and put some up in the air and just let Plexico try and out-jump me, that time for a huge 1st down.
And that's one of the reasons why they put Lito Shepherd on him, was because they thought he could be more physical due to the size. But Plexico Burris clearly gets the advantage on that pass.
Bettis a little better here at the start of the 2nd half by this Philadelphia defensive line. A gain of 3 by Jerome.
Does Plexico Burris remind you a little bit of Javon Walker from the Packers, in that a guy that it seems like the light is going on and he's making big plays and he's stretching the defenses and scoring those long touchdowns that their offense so desperately needs?
He's a terrific player. And then you look at Ben Roethlisberger. He's third in the NFL on third down passing, and that's been a big difference in this game, their ability to convert on third down.
Blitz coming on 2nd and 7, and the Steelers run right into it with Bettis. No gain on the play. Another third down coming up for Pittsburgh.
And the one thing that we've seen out of Pittsburgh so far is that every time they end up in these 3rd and longs, they end up converting. Ben Roethlisberger ran the one for the big first down. They just came back to the play to Plexico Burress. This historically has been the strength of this Eagles defense, 3rd and long when they can blitz.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Ben Roethlisberger almost exclusively played from the shotgun in college, and on third downs is when he gets the opportunity to do that here in this offense.
Eagles showing blitz, and they come. Roethlisberger fires, and it's Burress. Plexico Burress drops the football. And they're going to mark him out of bounds with a first down just inside the 22-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, what an incredible route by Plexico Burress. I thought he was going deep on the go, and so did, who was that, Lito Shepherd? He thought he was going to the outside and jumped to the inside, and then by hot dog and then carrying one hand, he cost himself a touchdown.
Plexico Burress running the skinny post. The corner squatted on the route. And yet Plexico Burress still able to get inside and make the catch. And what a weapon when you're talking about a guy that size. 6'4", can run like the wind, has great leaping ability, and he's really come into his own this year. They said last year about the last 5 games he finally started to get it. The light went on.
Corey went out of bounds. First down, Pittsburgh.
The light went on for him at the end of last season. It's continued throughout the offseason, his work habits, and he's having a great season throughout the first 7-8 games.
But we've also seen the Eagles now with all kinds of different attacks trying to get after them on third down. That time they came with the blitz, and Ben Roethlisberger, just as he did last week against the Patriots and Bill Belichick, makes them pay a big price for blitzing him.
47-yard play by the end of it. And first down, they hand to Bettis. Jerome Bettis with a big day down to the 15-yard line. And one of the Eagles is down and injured back in the area where Roethlisberger handed it off.
It looks like Corey Simon, Joe.
Corey Simon, who is a guy who was a free agent to be. All these Eagles at the Philadelphia club starting to lock up. Simon's not on the list yet. He is down and injured.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by GMC Trucks and SUVs. We are professional grade.
Second down for Pittsburgh. Second down and 4 with the ball at the Eagles' 15-yard line. Simon popped up and got off the field under his own power, and Bettis was tripped up in the backfield. No gain.
Go back to the injury to Corey Simon, and Marvell Smith, the tackle, is going to make a really heads-up play blocking Nate Wayne here. Wayne's going to try and go by inside. Smith's going to take him and drive him right back into Corey Simon, and that's when the injury occurred. Kind of tough to tell exactly what it was.
Steelers here facing another third down, and I know last week Plexico Burress was very happy with them throwing the fade route to him. He's got, well, there he goes back out wide, but he's got single coverage. I wouldn't all be surprised to see him take advantage of the size advantage that he has.
This time it's not Shepherd, it's Sheldon Brown across from him. Blitz coming, and the ball is knocked free. They're going to call it an incomplete pass. The arm was coming forward, and that's the call on the field by Corolla.
Hollis Thomas coming through unblocked, essentially. When you try and send somebody in every gap, eventually somebody's going to make a play. And Hollis Thomas this time just shooting right through there. Nobody gets a finger on him. And Troy, you called it exactly. They were trying to go to the fade.
That's one of the few times this offensive line has turned people loose inside. They've done a good job of forcing pressure off the edges and not giving clean shots up over the center gaps.
Jeff Reed is 8 of 11 field goal department. He'll try a 33-yarder and push it. So the Eagles are hanging in there. Still down by 18 as they get it back with 7.5 left in the third quarter. Could not ask for a better day here on the 7th of November. Crystal clear blue skies. There's a little bit of wind for these players to try and handle, and the Eagles get it back. After the 33-yard miss, McNabb has time, and he finds his tight end Lewis. Big completion of 21 yards to Chad Lewis.
Yeah, and you're going to see Troy Polamalu. He's right here. He's coming up. He anticipates run. He realizes off the play action that it's pass, and they bring Chad Lewis then in behind him. Good call there on the play action, getting the safety to bite up, opening up some throwing lanes in behind him.
McNabb back across the middle of the field and incomplete with Terrell Owens wide open.
Really was, Joe. They had a great opportunity there. We saw Donovan McNabb miss high a few times to begin the game last week. This time he's just going to curl back around the coverage as McNabb rolls to his right, and there was an opportunity, just missed it badly.
Yeah, and that's one of the few opportunities that you get working Terrell Owens over the middle of the ball. Generally, he'll draw a crowd. Just not a very good pass by Donovan.
2nd down and 10.
T.O. in the backfield.
McNabb finds him. 1st down, Owens. Started in the backfield and ends up 12 yards later with a Philadelphia 1st down.
Starting to remind me a little bit of how they used him in San Francisco. You know, more in the slot, more in the backfield where you just let him go one-on-one and linebackers. One of the greatest assets that Owens has is his ability to run with the ball after the catch. A huge guy. If you can get him running free in the secondary, very difficult to bring down.
Here's a chance for Philadelphia to get back into this game. On 1st down, they stick with a throw, and it's Terrell Owens again. He's popped by Polamalu, but he's got a 1st down and a 20-yard completion.
Talking with Brad Childress before the game. He says there's a tendency for the Steelers not to get a jam on the wide receivers. As you're going to see, Terrell Owens does not get held up there by Deshae Townsend. He gets inside, and that's where Pittsburgh's vulnerable, is over the middle of the ball, as we've already seen. Terrell Owens now 3 times has gotten in that area. Twice Donovan's been able to get the ball in his hands.
Give McNabb a little credit for looking off the safety and creating that opportunity.
McNabb in trouble. Throws it right into the hands of Ferrier. What a mistake, and Ferrier is back down inside the Philadelphia 40.
This time Donovan drops back. Pittsburgh does a pretty good job here covering everybody up. They've got 2 guys there on Terrell Owens. Donovan looks back to his left. Nowhere to go unless he came underneath quick. Trying to make a play. Comes back out on his left side and throws it right into the hands of James Ferrier.
You know, this is the kind of play you expect a rookie quarterback to make, and Roethlisberger has not, and now McNabb does.
Down by 18 points, trying to do too much, and Ferrier ends up with it. His 2nd interception landed right in his gut. A well-timed blitz by the Eagles, and Bettis runs right by it. Gain of 6.
You know, in Philadelphia defensively, they've tried a lot of different looks. I mean, they're doing some different stunts up front, some twists with their defensive tackles. They're bringing linebackers up inside, and everything that they've done has not been able to do anything to slow down this Pittsburgh running game.
And that was just a killer turnover. The Eagles had finally gotten something going offensively. T.O. was getting hot, and you just make a poor choice by quarterback Donovan McNabb.
Bettis with his 55th career 100-yard day on the ground. We'll try and add to it. Got a yard.
Yeah, we talked earlier a little bit about Ben Roethlisberger and what he's been able to do on third downs. And I think there's a tendency when you look at this Pittsburgh Steelers team, you think that because they run the ball so well and he's a young quarterback that he's only been managing the football games. That's quite contrary to the facts. He's actually been very much involved in making plays and keeping drives alive and winning football games for this team, as has been evident from what we've seen here on third downs by him.
Roethlisberger fires, and it's incomplete for Ward.
It's a huge stop by the Eagles. It really is.
There's a penalty flag, and it's going to be an illegal shift, it appears. So it's going to be fourth down.
Well, and you wonder if they would have gone for it on fourth down from where they were. I think that's 4-down territory. Now do they get backed up?
I think you have to decline this, though. Make it fourth
Illegal
down.
shift on the offense. 2 men moving and not resetting. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, fourth down.
Certainly by declining the penalty, you now allow Pittsburgh to go for it on fourth down. I don't know that they would if they took the penalty and there was an incompletion. I don't think on fourth down from the 38, I don't think that they then go for it on fourth down.
Well, this is not necessarily a play. You could try the hard count here and try to get them to jump off sides.
The ball is sitting just outside the 31. So you're talking about roughly a 49-yard field goal try for Reed, who just missed from 33 yards.
Unbelievable.
Philly may have come across. The pass incomplete.
Unbelievable.
And it is against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, how about that for Ben Roethlisberger, the young rookie quarterback, having the presence of mind, knowing the situation, using the hard count to his advantage, getting a free play, and also getting a first down.
But how dumb on the part of the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody in the stadium.
Offside. Defense. Number 32. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You could have asked any one of the cheerleaders, and they would have known it was going to be a hard count right there. How do you make that mistake?
They just didn't tell Michael Lewis.
Good golly.
I, before now, did not realize the cheerleaders were that into the game.
Well, apparently not everybody did know, right?
I don't even think they have cheerleaders here.
They don't. But if there were.
Yeah.
4 minutes, 6 seconds left in the third quarter. A big first down for Pittsburgh. And Bettis gets it to the 25, a gain of 1.
You know what was so interesting in the conversations with the Steelers coaching staff and players is that Ben Roethlisberger was so bad when he first got here, and when he really first took over the job. There was a point before the Cincinnati game, about his second or third game, where basically Bill Cowher had to call him into his office and say, are you okay? You know, he was missing by 10 and 15 yards some passes, and Bill Cowher went back in the locker room and said, listen, guys, he is the variable right now. You guys have to be the constant. You've got to go get it done.
That's Burris as they hand to Bettis. And Jerome is down just inside the 24, another gain of 1.
Well, how about what Bill Cowher said to us yesterday, Chris, when he said that he's a much better player on Sunday than he is practice player during the week. But I got to tell you, I was at the practice on Friday. I was impressed with the way he was throwing the ball around. Apparently, that's not typical of what he shows on Wednesdays and Thursdays anyway.
It's got to be tough, though, for a young guy, especially a guy that had such limited experience in this type of offense, even being under center, just to know where the guys are running on the routes.
Third down and 8, and the Eagles have to spend a timeout. This has not been a good defensive day for the Philadelphia Eagles. Third down for Pittsburgh when we come back.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Best Buy, thousands of possibilities, get yours. And by Cialis. Cialis is here. Ask your doctor if a free sample of Cialis is right for you.
Ben Roethlisberger getting Marriage proposals from fans in the stands, and reason the Eagles had to call a timeout is because Antwaan Randle El was lined up in the backfield on that 3rd down.
And they were confused again.
Dexter Wynn and Michael Lewis.
Lewis just finally shoved him out there, so get out there.
So they use a timeout. 2:45 left in the 3rd quarter. And it's 3rd and 8 for the Steelers. And Antwaan Randle El is still in the backfield. They fake a toss to him and flip it incomplete for Haynes.
Ooh, that was dangerous.
That was close.
Yes, sir. That didn't fool anybody on Philadelphia's team, and Ben sort of floated that one up in the air. That's one where they could have posted a 7 on the scoreboard very quickly.
Here comes a 42-yard try.
Yeah, and let's not forget that comes off of the fact that they drew Michael Lewis off sides to get the 1st down, and that's what put him in field goal range.
But at least you keep it to a 3-touchdown game by not allowing a touchdown there. And your offense was getting hot until the mistake by McNabb.
So a 42-yard try. Reed moments ago missed from 33. 8 for 12 on the season. This one is hit better, and it's good. So it's back to a 21-point game here in the Steel City with Pittsburgh up on Philly. As we welcome all of you back, we want to say hello and thank you as this game is being seen around the world on Armed Forces Television. We want to send our best wishes to the men and women of 1st Battalion 228th Aviation Regiment stationed in Honduras.
You know, you alluded to my age earlier, and I was a child. I grew up during the whole Vietnam era and saw the way that some of those veterans were treated when they came home. I think it's going to be a totally different reception for these war heroes when they come home this time.
It's a 24-3 Steeler lead, and it's Roderick Hood waiting for this kick from Reed. 64,975, which I think is a couple hundred better than their record crowd that they packed in to this stadium last weekend for the game against the New England Patriots.
But the Buffalo Bills jumping out on the Jets, creating a little space possibly for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There's the Oakland score. So Tampa Bay now out in front of Kansas City by 4.
Uh-oh, Troy Aikman.
Look at that.
It's always tough going to Cincinnati, big boy.
Going to the jungle.
Always tough in the jungle.
2:36 left in this 3rd quarter, and the kick is through the end zone. So the Eagles will begin at their 20. A little recap for you. Hines Ward carried one in, made a catch, and then ran one in. And then it was the tight end, Jay Remersma, from Ben Roethlisberger. The 3 touchdowns on the day, and we've seen frustration on the Eagles sideline for the first time all season, coming in 7-0. Terrell Owens comes into this game with 5 straight 100-yard games. The record is 7 straight, set by Michael Irvin in 1995. He's been shut down for the most part today. You can see they're trying to make a concerted effort to get the ball in his hands, and he makes the catch, picks up 4 yards.
Well, they're keeping bodies on him. There's no doubt about that. They know where he is lining up, and they know where he's trying to get to. And when he's catching the ball, they're trying to put a helmet on him. And pretty safe to say, Chris, that if Philadelphia is going to get back in this game, this drive, they've got to be able to go down and get a touchdown.
Yeah, and Donovan McNabb just has to get hot. He's fully capable, a great player. And I think they need to go after William Williams a little bit on the outside. They've been leaving some single coverage at the top of your screen. They haven't really taken advantage of it.
2nd down and 6, and it's Ferrier again on a blitz, and Ferrier has had a fantastic afternoon.
He really has, Joe. He comes in again on the blitz. This is what they wanted to do. They wanted to bring pressure inside on Donovan McNabb. You're going to see him coming up through here, and he just comes untouched. The You got the left guard blocking down Artis Hicks. He doesn't come off of it, doesn't see the blitz, and as a result, there's just nothing Donovan can do to escape.
Last week it was Joey Porter coming up huge. Now James Ferrier. This game reminiscent a little of the game he had against the Dallas Cowboys where he just took over.
McNabb has some time, fires to the sideline, incomplete. Out of the reach of Todd Pinkston. 4th down for the Eagles, and let's have a game break from Jeannie Zelasco.
Joe, the Redskins offense downright offensive in the first half, so they're getting creative in the second. Clinton Portis back to pass. Yes, Portis to Lavernius Coles. 15-yard strike does the damage. It is 10-3 Washington.
So Brunell's having trouble throwing touchdowns. They give it to Clinton Portis.
Yeah, that's one answer.
Here comes another punt from Dirk Johnson. Checks up and goes backward. And it's picked up. Wow. On a hop. It's Haynes who got it on the second bounce. And even the punter can't get the ball to bounce right here in Pittsburgh for the Eagles. You look at the best starts in the history of this great organization. 78, they were 7-0. 73, 6-1. 75, 6-1. They're on their way. Things don't change dramatically. They're starting this season 7-1 after losing their starting quarterback, Tommy Maddox, in week 2.
And this team's a little bit of a throwback to some of those days offensively with the way that they can run the football. Defensively, though, they're very different. This team blitzes a heck of a lot more than that team did. They could just line up and whip you any way they wanted.
Just over a minute left, and it's Jerome Bettis. He's down to the 41.
Sorry, Joe. I think also to take it a little bit further, Chris, because yeah, Franco Harris and company, they were able to run the ball awfully effectively, much like this group, but they also had playmakers out at the skill position, and that's something that this team certainly has when you're talking about Hines Ward and Plexico Burris along with Antoine Randall L. And you got a quarterback that can get the ball down the field. This is still somewhat of a vertical passing game, much like what Terry Bradshaw ran back in the 70s.
With the mobility of Terry Bradshaw as well.
No rookie quarterback has ever led a team to the Super Bowl. 2nd down and 8. That ball comes out, and Philadelphia ends up on top of it. So a turnover. Michael Lewis comes away with a football. A bad exchange. Great pressure up front by the Eagles defensive line. And with 19 seconds left in this 3rd quarter, it's this turnover from Roethlisberger trying to get it into the arms of Jerome Bettis.
It's really tough to tell there whether or not Bettis was supposed to take it, but Roethlisberger basically just tripped over the feet of Jerome Bettis, and it almost looked like that Bettis made a little bit of a cut that Roethlisberger wasn't expecting.
But it looked like Roethlisberger was undecided as to whether or not it was actually a handoff or if it was play action. There was some gray area there as to what he was trying to do with the ball. 2nd turnover. Blitz coming from Pittsburgh, and right into the arms is Brian Westbrook. Kendrell Bell, who has made his presence felt in his first game back since the first preseason game for Pittsburgh.
They go with the cross blitz right in here, right into the gut of the draw. And for Dick LeBeau, he's been magical so far today. Every time that they have tried something, Dick LeBeau has had the perfect answer.
24-3. The Steelers on top. The Eagles with the ball at their own 44 when we begin the 4th quarter. Back after this from your local Fox station. Is that wish list asking for too much? Beat the 6-0 Pats, beat the 7-0 Eagles, and win the Super Bowl in Jacksonville in February. 2nd down for Philadelphia. McNabb airs it. Pinkston. Incomplete. Williams defending for the Steelers.
Yeah, that's a play that Todd Pinkston normally makes. This is something that he's very good at. They like to use him on the vertical routes. He's one-on-one with Willie Williams. Donovan gives him a chance, puts the ball in a great location. Looked like it went right through his hands. He had his hands on it. Willie Williams did not get his arm in there to knock that ball out. That ball should have been caught.
Willie Williams has really made a difference on this team after the injury to Chad Scott. He stepped in there beautifully.
3rd down and 13. Blitz coming, Williams.
When you play against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, you have to watch the corners. Deshae Townsend, the other corner, already with 3 sacks. And Donovan McNabb never looked this way. He had no idea. He had 3 blitzers coming to this side and no time to hold on to that football.
You can see where they picked up Larry Foote. The hardest thing for a quarterback to know is when they bring the cornerback blitz. Donovan doesn't sense it, and he takes it right in the face.
3rd sack of the day for Pittsburgh. And a line drive punt into the arms of Antoine Randall L. Brought down by L.J. Smith, the tight end. So Williams downfield covering Pinkston on the deep throw, then coming on the blitz and getting his first sack of the year.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. By Campbell's Chucky Soup. With big chunks of meat and veggies, it fills you up right. By FedEx Kinko's, your one stop for copying, printing, and shipping. And by Michelob Ultra. Lose the carbs, not the taste.
Look, kids, Big Ben. Where's Parliament?
Big Ben, Parliament.
Can't get over to the left. 1st and 10 for the Steelers. Blitz coming from the Eagles. Handoff is to Bettis. Out to the 31-yard line, a gain of 7, and we go back to the hit on Donovan McNabb.
And the question is, could Donovan have known that it was coming? Very unusual alignment to see all these cover guys on the single receiver side. I think Donovan thought he had it protected for 2 guys blitzing, but when the 3rd guy came, when the corner came, it was not protected for that.
2nd down and 3. Jerome Bettis still rolling. Bettis into the open field and out of bounds at the 45.
Now, if there was any questions as to whether or not he had any gas left in his tank, I think this run here shows that he does. A simple handoff, he breaks outside, and as you get older as a running back, these are the types of runs that you struggle with the speed to get outside. Not only does he get outside, but he also has the ability still to break tackles. You just cannot bring this guy down when you're down around his ankles.
He still has a little wiggle for a big guy too, doesn't he? I can remember watching him at Notre Dame and just being amazed at how many moves a guy his size had.
Haynes just shredding this Philadelphia defense is this Steeler offensive line. Let's go out to Jeannie for a game break.
Well, Joe, Jay Fiedler out with a shoulder stinger. Replacement A.J. Feely feeling his own kind of pain. A tip pass falls right into the hands of Dwayne Starks. He's off to the races. 40 yards for the score. It's the 5th interception return for a touchdown versus Miami this season.
You just wonder how much more can go wrong for the Miami Dolphins. Unbelievable.
Poor Dave Wannstedt. It started in the offseason.
207 rushing yards today for the Steelers. This is Haynes, not much this time. You think about Bettis being number 6 on the all-time list. He came in with 12,482 yards in his great career, 77 touchdowns. Traded here from the St. Louis Rams after starting his career in Los Angeles, traded here in '96. And the first 5 guys, the only 5 above him on that all-time list, you only have to say their first name. Emmett, Walter, Barry, Eric, and Tony. And then there's Jerome.
And Curtis is about to pass him. But, you know, you have to give him so much credit, I think. Deuce Staley was brought in, given the starting role, and he kept his mouth shut. Welcome Deuce in. He was a great team player.
30, and that's it. Adams was the first to lay a hand on him. Gain of 2.
I think even going back to last year, Chris, remember they had Amos Zaraway, and they wanted him to be the guy to take Jerome Bettis' place, felt that he was slowing down, and by week 7, Jerome Bettis was back in the starting lineup as the starting tailback, and you're right, he's welcomed Deuce Staley here, and that's why it's worked, because these two guys are great friends off the field. They do a lot of things together away from the facility, and because of that, it's been a nice relationship between these two players.
Got to spend about 5 minutes with Bettis to figure out what kind of a guy he is. A classy person. A direct snap to Antoine Randall L. They're bringing it all out of the Steelers, and the Eagles have no answers today.
We talked about the job that Dick LeBeau's done on defense. You want to talk about a perfect call on offense. All-out blitz coming to the left side. What do? You hand it to your fastest player going to the right side. Perfect call, perfect execution, a beautifully executed game plan by Ken Whisenhunt and this entire Steelers offense.
And I think Ken Whisenhunt has been doing it all season long. I mean, he has made the game easier for Ben Roethlisberger, and he's put these skill players in a position to have success. He's done a terrific job as a first-time offensive coordinator for this Steeler team.
Another blitz. They hand to Bettis, still making moves in the backfield. And it starts up front. Smith, Faneca, Hardings, who was close to retirement, now anchoring this offensive line right in the middle. Vincent and Oliver Ross.
Well, and let's not forget, Joe, that Kedrick Vincent, he took the place of Kendall Simmons. Quality player, and he has stepped in, and he has played well when he's had his chances.
And their left tackle, Marvell Smith, I was really impressed watching him play against Richard Seymour of the New England Patriots a week ago. He really held his own against one of the best players in the league. And Alan Faneca, I've already told you, I think that's the most complete guard in the game.
2nd down and 9. Bettis down inside the 15-yard line. Steve Horn is our editorial consultant here in the booth, and he was reminding me of that 72 Dolphins team and how every time, every season, that last undefeated team goes down, and that is in the making here today, barring a miraculous turnaround by the Eagles. And then you think about Dick LeBeau, who was a defensive back under Don Shula with the Detroit Lions, Shula's first coaching job. He was there from 60 to 62, and Shula will have maybe a bottle sent to Dick LeBeau for the job his defense has done handling this Philadelphia offense.
You know, people forget Dick LeBeau was one of the greatest players in this game. Something like 60 interceptions in his career, one of the all-time leaders in the National Football League. And getting
offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And I think getting Dick LeBeau back here, remember, he was the defensive coordinator in '95 when they went to the Super Bowl with Pittsburgh. And that really shored up the defensive side. It allowed Bill Cowher to go focus his attention on the offensive side, get that back to what he wanted, more of the traditional running game and power football that they'd gotten away from the last couple of years. Now a very complete football team.
A couple of injury notes. Dan Kreider, the fullback, has a hip injury. His return and his status right now is unknown. Reno Mahe is in for x-rays on his injured foot. So it doesn't look like Mahe will rejoin the Eagles for the rest of the day. Antoine Randall L., a 7-yard completion from Roethlisberger. That's next Sunday, Fox NFL Sunday. Seahawks at Rams, good game in the NFC West, and then we will be in Green Bay for the Vikings against the surging Green Bay Packers.
Well, they really are. The Packers started off, isn't it almost exactly what they did a season ago? So poorly, came back, got it to 500, went on that late run, and of course 4th and 26, and Fred X did them in Philadelphia, knocked them out of the playoffs, but they're getting hot again.
And for those that don't know, Fred X is Freddie Mitchell.
There you go.
The people's champ. Reed knocks it through with just under 8 minutes to play here in Pittsburgh. A 24-point lead for the Steelers, their biggest of the day. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. A 24-point Steeler lead, along with our producer Richie Zients, our director Artie Kempner, and all those in trucks and out here in the stadium, bringing you the pictures and the sounds. The Steelers are on their way to a 7-1 start. And for Pittsburgh, they have a date coming up next at Cleveland. And they're at Cincinnati. They're home against Washington, at Jacksonville. Good is this record going to be by the end of the season, as Rod Hood takes it right up the middle and gets it inside Steeler territory as he is knocked down at the 43. It's frustration all day long for the Philadelphia Eagles. Terrell Owens has had a day he'd like to forget. So would the rest of these Eagles. 27-3. Good day for a little paddle boat ride down the river. Beautiful afternoon weather-wise, and for the Steeler fans scoreboard-wise. McNabb is nailed from behind as he let it go, and that was Aaron Smith, the unsung hero at left defensive end, who got there to knock McNabb as he let the pass fly.
Well, this is not a lot of fun for Philadelphia offensively when you get into these situations against a good defensive team like Pittsburgh, and them knowing that you have to throw the ball. They give you so many different looks, so many various blitzes. The zone dogs, they can bring pressures. We just saw by rushing just 4 guys. This is a tough position to be in.
Movement by Chad Lewis is going to cost Philadelphia 5 yards.
False start, 89, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
I heard you, Troy, say it's not a fun position for the team to be in, but how about for the quarterback, knowing that he's out there to throw the ball and you've got a Steeler defense ready to tee off on you.
Yeah, and you got a wide receiver that's wondering why he's not getting the ball. You know, I mean,
it's a bad combination.
It's a bad combination, let me tell you.
Second down and 15. They move McNabb and dump it off to Owens, get the 5 yards back, and let's check in again with Jeannie Zelasco with a game break.
Yeah, my partner Terrell Davis will tell you offense usually gets all the love, but special teams getting the ball in Detroit. Blocked punt. Taylor Jacobs with the effort, Walt Harris with the scoop and the touchdown. The Redskins up 17-3.
All right, Jeannie, thank you. And you see the rest of the scores go by. Plenty of time left in the fourth quarter with Miami up by a couple on Arizona.
Detroit, the team that couldn't win on the road, now can't win at home.
Third down and 10. Hagan's coming. Penalty flag on the play, and again McNabb goes down.
Uh-oh, everybody's doing the bird now.
And I got to tell you, Joe, I think it's time to get Donovan McNabb out of the game.
It's a procedure call against Philadelphia.
Illegal formation. Number 84 on the offense was covered by the wide receiver. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, fourth down.
Not a bad job by Runyon on the outside, runs him by, but again, nobody open, and Hagan's with the athleticism to come all the way around the corner and come back and get McNabb.
The clock's not running here, but Philadelphia on the previous play was huddling up while the clock, well, the clock is running, and they're showing no urgency to get up and get the ball snapped. If that's the case, and they're not trying to make a run at getting back in this game, I just think you got to get Donovan McNabb out.
4th and 11. McNabb with pressure behind him, throws, and it's incomplete. Owens was the intended receiver. Russell Stubance, an extra defensive back, was defending for Pittsburgh. So that could be the end of the day for Donovan McNabb. The Eagles trying to make one more effort to get back in this game. Come up short on 4th down. Pittsburgh takes over. Deuce Staley today for the Steelers, and Pittsburgh did not miss a beat. First 7 games, 129 total yards. He did have 8 touchdowns. Today 32 carries, 145 yards on the ground. Still pushing the pile forward. And if you ask the question, what do these guys do with those long commercial breaks? When you have one of those cameras, it's on a pulley and can get down close. The 3 receivers mugging. Mugging for the camera, and these Steelers are having a ball today.
It's the 2nd week in a row that they've just absolutely dominated one of the better teams in the league. Last week they come out in the 2nd half and just completely throttled New England. Did the exact same thing here today against Philadelphia.
2nd down and 6. Had a nice day when he's had a chance to relieve Bettis. Gets 4. We came on the air talking about what the Steelers were trying to accomplish, becoming the first team in the history of the NFL this deep into the season to defeat undefeated teams in back-to-back weeks. They did it to the New England Patriots last week, and they are 5.5 minutes away from officially doing it to the Philadelphia Eagles today.
I know we don't have polls in the National Football League, but I think if the writers were voting, there's no question who the #1 team in the nation would be right now.
Handoff is to Haynes, and he is ahead for a 1st down. Let's check in again with Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, it hasn't been a very positive day for the Eagles offense, but teammates tell me that Terrell Owens is the consummate team guy. You heard me right. Talked to Chad Lewis before the game. He said he absolutely loves having T.O. on the team. He considers him to be a great locker room guy to boot. Even though we saw that little tiff between Donovan and T.O. earlier in the game, by most accounts, T.O. is a welcomed addition to the team.
All right, thank you, Pam. And I don't think there's any doubt that a big factor with that sideline action was the frustration on the part of McNabb. He didn't want to hear it from anybody at that point.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that it was any sort of argument or a tiff or anything. I just think that sometimes a wide receiver wants to go get in his ear. Come on now, come on, we can do it. Give me the ball. I'll get us back, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Quarterback just doesn't want to have to hear it.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Sort of like you in the booth every once in a while.
This is earlier.
Well, you can just tell by Donovan's body language that he was frustrated himself, frustrated with some of the throws that he had made, and I'm sure Terrell Owens just wanted to talk to him about some of the things they could do to be a little bit more effective offensively. But you talk to these players for the Eagles, and Pam's absolutely right. They all talk about what a team guy he has been from day one.
Handoff is to Willie Parker. Carries the ball for the first time this season and gets a 1st down. Out of bounds at the Philadelphia 31.
Well, last week, Pittsburgh ran the ball for over 220 yards against the New England Patriots. Today, that number's 252 and counting.
Remember what New England was last week? 5. So in back-to-back weeks now, they've given up 21 yards rushing and 5 yards rushing.
That's an average, Chris, of 13 a game.
Let me see. Do the math. Hot.
1st down for the Steelers.
That's the insight we get from Joe. Dick never would have had that.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God he's back.
Willie Parker. Another person that we hear from during the baseball season, not just me, but Jeannie Zelasco with a game break.
Yeah, you can't get rid of us. To Miami, where the Arizona defense recently picked up some points. Now the offense chips in via Emmitt Smith. 60-yard run for the score, 17-12 Arizona.
Did I say how much worse can it get for Miami?
Well, you got to be happy for Emmitt Smith getting the touchdown.
Oh, boy.
I'm thrilled. Yeah.
2nd down and 8. 50 times they've carried the ball. The last 3 have been by Willie Parker as the Steeler fans serenade the Eagles. And there's a little fight after the carry by Parker. And let's see who ends up on the bottom of the pile. It's Remersma.
Yeah, this is old-fashioned football, though, wouldn't you agree, Troy? I mean, there were times that your offensive line and Emmitt Smith would just maul people, and that's exactly what the Steelers have done here today.
It was Jeremiah Trotter on the Eagles side, and it's been all Pittsburgh today, up 27-3. 27-3. The ball is at the 27.
The oldest and the worst chant to hear if you're an opponent in a stadium, the hey, 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 goodbye. And that's exactly what it's been since the early going in this one.
3rd down and 6. Haynes to the 24. That's it. And they will stop the clock as Philadelphia takes a timeout.
Well, and the other thing, Chris, is the last thing you want to have happen to you as a football team is to have someone run the ball down your throat. It questions your toughness and everything that you're about from a physical standpoint as a football team. And I tell you, they're gonna have to take a long, hard look at this one when they go back in on Monday and look at the film and see exactly what's happened. But Pittsburgh offensively has just been more physical and has outplayed this team.
Over 100 rushing attempts the last 2 weekends against New England and Philadelphia for Pittsburgh.
Well, that was the question. Could they stop the run? The answer, an emphatic no for the Philadelphia Eagles. But, Troy, I think the other side of this equation is, do the Eagles have enough of a running game themselves to take some pressure off of Donovan McNabb in these big games against these good defenses?
4th down and 3, and the Steelers will go for it. 2:48 to go. And throw it. And complete it to Matt Cushing. He's got a 1st down, and he's got his first catch of the season.
And Hines Ward almost had a heart attack. He was wide open for a walk-in touchdown. He said, oh, it was my 3rd. It was my 3rd. All out, sell out to try and stop the run, and Hines is jumping up and down and begging for one.
Chris, I think to go back to your question earlier about the running game of the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe that they do, but you can't throw the ball 66% of the time all season long and then expect to be able to run the ball with that offensive line when they're not accustomed to coming off the ball like that and using the running game when you have to use it. And I think that's something that they've got to take a harder look at. Of course, Andy Reid loves to throw the football and has enjoyed tremendous amount of success. But when you get into games where the passing game isn't real effective, it's nice when you can rely on a good, solid running game to help your quarterback out.
Pretty classy move here by Bill Cowher. They will not be able to run this clock out. They'll have to turn it back over, and he's simply not going to run up the score. I'm thinking that Bill's saying there's a good possibility we may see this team again, possibly in Jacksonville, Florida, for the Super Bowl.
2 guys who have been here in Pittsburgh for a long time coming together to share a smile. Big day for the Steelers.
Troy, it's a huge night tonight on Fox, baby.
How big is it?
Season premiere Sunday with King of the Hill. Big showdown there, the biggest Malcolm ever. The all-new Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Arrested Development, the Emmy winner for Best Comedy, and the series premiere of My Big Fat Obnoxious Box. Boss.
God, that was horrible.
Fox season premiere Sunday starts tonight at 7.
Is that what you got to do to be an Emmy winner?
It's only 2 minutes to go in the game. You couldn't hold it for 2 more minutes. Make me read that and make a total fool out of myself.
This stadium is beautiful. I mean, it's state-of-the-art. Fantastic. But there's one flaw for broadcasters here at this press box.
You look a little winded.
Oh, I haven't had to sprint like that. for 20 years.
You didn't pull anything, did you?
I don't think so.
You better hydrate when you get home tonight.
I will. A minute and a half remaining, and it's a third down for the Steelers. And we had that shot of Cowher, who's been here since '92. Steelers have had 2 head coaches over the last 36 years. That feeling of family and continuity. And you wonder if, including that Super Bowl year, this might be the most dangerous team that Bill Cowher has had here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think so. And when you talk to people around the league, and they're always talking about having stability at the quarterback position, in some ways, stability at the head coaching position is that much more important. And they've certainly had that, as you've mentioned, here with Pittsburgh.
You know, and Dan Rooney, the guy that, let's face it, he could have easily pulled the trigger on Cowher a few years ago. They went through a pretty tough stretch there, but he believes in continuity and stability, and he stayed with his guy, and now his guy is back to what he does best, and that's the power running game, the defense, and they are indeed back.
Officially now, with half a minute remaining, and on 4th down they had to kneel down, so the Eagles will have to come out and at least run one more play. You see the names of the people who are responsible for bringing you this game today on Fox. First team in NFL history to defeat 2 undefeated teams in consecutive games this deep into the season. A minimum of a 6-0 record. And these 2 clubs will leave this stadium with records of 7-1.
Well, and even more impressive, Joe, than the fact that they've won the games is how they've won them. I mean, these have been good football teams these past 2 weeks that they have played, and they've made it look easy. And then you ask yourself, just how good is this Pittsburgh team? And from what we've seen, they're the best in the league at this time.
I agree, and I say cheers to Nick Bonacani and Bob Greasy and Don Shula. Enjoy your champagne, pop the corks, have a great time, guys.
Penalty flag on this handoff as there was movement across the line of scrimmage. You look at the Eagles schedule after we showed you the Steelers' upcoming schedule. At Dallas,
Offside.
at home against Washington.
Defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
A game at the Giants, and now you wonder about the New York Giants and challenging this Philadelphia team, as there were some glaring weaknesses and some holes exposed by this Steelers team with this Philadelphia club so far into the season. 8 games in.
Well, there's no question, but the one thing we do know that Philadelphia is going to bounce back. I mean, they showed that and proved that to us a year ago. Every time that they've had their backs against the wall and people have counted them out, they've rebounded and they've come back. And I think there's a tendency for all of us. It happened last week when New England got beat by Pittsburgh. Everybody wants to overreact in this league. It's still just 1 loss, and there's no question in my mind that Philadelphia is still the team to beat in the NFC.
You know, the only thing I would say about that is if you get a power running team, maybe the Green Bay Packers type of team that can run the football. Seattle, another team that could possibly give this Philadelphia Eagles team some trouble because of the inability to stop the run.
This is Reno Mahe, so good news for the Eagles. He was getting his injured foot looked at. Now he's well enough to come back into the game. Big Ben is 6-0 as a starter. That ties an NFL record for rookie quarterbacks. Mike Kruzek did it in 1976, and it will be a date at Cleveland next weekend as Roethlisberger tries to break that record. We'll take a break, come back to wrap up a long day of football here in Pittsburgh after this.